Welcome back to another video. There's a new update for BeamNG. There seems to be quite a lot of changes that they've made to the way it looks and the way it feels, so I thought we should probably check that out. I know a lot of people might be here for sim racing, iRacing content, but there's a lot of value to BeamNG. I've always enjoyed the physics, and I think it's becoming more of a finished game. So let's go check it out. So here we are then. We're straight into BeamNG, and immediately it looks different. The UI has changed. The feel of it is definitely more complete, and the first thing I notice is career coming soon. That's quite exciting, and that does make it feel like we're moving away from the kind of ultimate sandbox mode that we used to have before. So alongside this new UI update, there's also some new graphical updates on some of the maps, and some of the vehicles have had a rework. I know Utah is one of the ones that's had an update, so we'll go and have a look on that. But there's also a lot of differences in the way the game feels and plays. So let's pick an area. I don't know, let's go for the tourist area. That sounds about right. Let's spawn in there and let's have a look at some of the differences. So we've spawned in now, and I know this is one of the vehicles that's received a little bit of a graphical update. And as we have a look around, you can see, you know, it's never been a bad looking game, BeamNG, but it's got a bit more of an update to it now. There's a few different facelift options. We'll run through that in the UI in a minute. But we've gone for the generic people carrier here. And the first thing I'm going to say is I think it looks better than it ever has done. I know they've done some graphic updates, but just looking across that view, I think is quite impressive. Having said that, there is a very suspicious box looking thing here we should probably check out, because that's not the best bit of graphics work. Or is that intentionally like that? It's intentionally like that. We're going to let them off. But this is the first difference you're going to notice in a free roam. If we look ahead of us here, we've got kind of a Forza Horizon-esque checkpoint, or even Grand Theft Auto Online, to be honest, checkpoint here of a mission that you can do now. This one's a time trial, and we can view the details of that if we want. Even more Forza-esque, and I don't say that in a bad way, I think it's a good thing now. If we come to a stop, and I believe if we hit M on the keyboard, we get this Forza Horizon-esque map where we can have a look around. We can see some different time trial events, some different missions we can do, I think. And better than that, if we choose one of them, I don't know, let's choose that. What's that? The long jump tunnel. So if we choose that, it will actually run GPS for us now, so we come back out of map mode. You can see just behind us there we had some arrows. If I turn us around, we've got kind of a overlay GPS, which is something brand new for the game. So as we follow this, we can start looking at some of the other things. There's been a big update to the way the force feedback feels, the way the cars handle. I've done a few different things in the cars so far, and I must admit, I'm getting more of a sensation of a feeling of weight than I have done in BeamNG before, and grip. And I think that's a really good thing. BeamNG's always been a challenge, and I've always loved the physics, the way they've incorporated real life, you know, things like body roll, which we'll probably see a bit of there. I've always enjoyed that, but I've found the cars a little bit kind of floaty at times, and I feel like we've got that weight and grip back now. So as we come around here, you can see that body roll, but also I think the audio's had a bit of an update. I can hear the car a bit more, it's a bit more refined, the noise, but also I can hear the wind noise and the road noise a little bit more than I think I could before. Alongside the main menu UI updates, there's also now UI updates on the pause screen, if you like. So we've got this option that come up now, we've never used to have before. So we've got some vehicle configuration work, you know, photo mode environment, but we can also go to vehicles. Now we've got quite a good way of filtering through different options, which is, I don't believe something was there before. And everyone knows what they're trying to get at with this car. So given that they've given us an iconic pretend looking rally car, and this is a sim racing channel, let's find a little rally stage and see what it's like now from a driving perspective. So I'm actually just making my way over to that rally stage now, following the GPS tracker we were talking about earlier, and the first thing that's striking me is that this is a front wheel drive car, and it's still not quite got the weight that you'd like through that force feedback. Because of the front wheel drive, I think I'd expect a little more kickback than we're getting, but it does feel like I can push the car towards its edge a little bit easier than I reckon I could have done beforehand. Could really do with a handbrake. We all love BeamNG. I was just trying to get to the start of the stage. So here we go then. We're arriving at this checkpoint to start the rally stage. And now you get greeted with view details. You basically get a choice if you want to play how many laps what you're going to do, how it's going to work, vehicles, so we're going to use the vehicle we've got. And we're going to press play and we're going to see how it handles. So here we go then. We'll go for the outside view to start with and then we'll see what it's like on board. Don't quite know what happened to the countdown lights there, but we're away, and I'm noticing already there's a lot of new stuff. We've got the inputs in the bottom left, which I never used to have, and some kind of G meter just by the rev counter. So that's exciting. Maybe they've always been there, I've never had them on, but I've not used them before. And the one thing I have always liked with BeamNG is that feeling of trepidation doing something like this, because you know you will pay for any damage in the worst possible way. The steering could be a little bit heavier, the force feedback. I could still get a bit more through it. I don't think they have toned it down a little bit. I don't think too much, but I can see how some people might be a little bit sad it's a little bit softer than how it was before, but I do think it makes the game a little bit more drivable, which is probably not a bad thing. It does feel to me like the game's moving more away from a very sandbox style, which is good fun, but yeah, it has limited wider appeal, and now it's starting to feel like a more complete game as we're all out of shape. Here we go. Very easy to lock this up, no doubt about that. Let's go inside, shall we? Got our shift lights on the dash, pretty cool. Really need that handbrake now, right? But I don't have anything bound for that at all, so just going to pretend like that was an awesome, cool hairpin. This is engaging though. It's a word I use a lot on this channel with a lot of the sims that I drive, but BeamNG is one that is right up there. I really enjoy the way it draws me in, and I think it comes back to that trepidation of damage, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, we're running wide there. Keep your foot in. Oh, I should not have kept my foot in. Should not have kept my foot in. And that is a great example of BeamNG for you right there. So we've had to restart because of the damage, but I think what I'll do is use this as an opportunity for me to have some more fun tackling this stage, but bring things to a close. And my closing thoughts and statements really are, if you haven't got BeamNG, now is a great time to pick it up. It's always good fun. The sandbox style to it, the crashes, you know, the physics, the way the cars react to the surface, I think it's one of the best games out there. And the fact that it's now starting to move towards a more complete, more finished game is only a good thing. And the updates they've brought visually look fantastic. The force feedback has been adjusted. Some ways not for the better, in other ways for the better. I think it makes it a lot more playable though, and that's always a good thing. So while I try and tackle a rally stage without a handbrake and any ability, I'm going to say, if you enjoyed my little run through of the update, please do hit that like button. It makes a big difference to me, and if you're not already, consider subscribing to the channel. But other than that, I shall say thanks very much for watching. Had to.